I'm going to ask you for your permission. All right, so let's do some yoga. So I'm going to move back now to my spot. Welcome to yoga. Thank you for being here. So, getting comfortable. At the beginning of our yoga practice, we want to find a way to sit that is easeful. So, I'm sitting on a blanket. You could be sitting on a blanket, you could sit on a pillow. And if you feel like your back is tight or you're tired today, you might move back if you have access to a wall or a couch, back up so that your back is supported. If you're seated in the chair, you're welcome to move forward so that your sit bones are more towards the front edge of your chair. And you could sit in this upright position. So you can see how I'm sitting tall, and this strengthens my postural muscles. It's really good for core strength and balance. But if you feel tired, you might move back some and let your back be supported by the back of the chair. We don't want to feel like we're kind of softening through the center and bowing the head. We want to sit in a way that's comfortable and alert, peaceful, and attentive. Okay, so I'm going to come here. You could be practicing with your prosthesis on or off. And I've got yoga props here. I've got blocks and a strap. You don't necessarily have to have those. I've got extra blankets. But, going forward, if you see how I'm using them through the class, and if you find that they might be helpful when you come back to class, or if you have your own practice at home, if you like to do yoga on your own, it might be nice to have these things close by. Okay, so let's begin by focusing on the breath. Okay, so taking that nice, comfortable seat, feel free to shift around a little bit. I know I've been talking for a while, so it might feel good just to rock back and forth on your sit bones. Maybe let your shoulders kind of rock back and forth. Take your shoulders up, back, and down a few times. Think of this as settling in. Oh, sorry. I'm going to mute everybody so that the camera doesn't. Um, sorry, I forgot to do that. Okay, there. I mute everybody so that the Zoom camera doesn't show wherever the sound's coming from. But if you have any questions, if anything I say isn't clear, please unmute and ask. This is an interactive class, even though I've got the floor. um, it's really meant to be interactive. So now feel where your sit bones rest on the earth. Notice the surface that you're sitting on. You might close your eyes now or soften your gaze towards the floor. And let's turn inward to our breath. Find your breath and feel how, as you inhale, the breath flows in through your nose, down your throat to fill your chest. Maybe there's a softening on the exhalation. Notice the rise and fall of your breath, the body gently filling and emptying. And I'm going to lead you into this breathing technique called the called Samavriti, which means equal ratio breath, where we're exhaling for the length of our inhale. And I'm going to lead you into this by counting the breath. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to follow it, to the T. If your breath is different than how I'm counting, then follow your natural breath. Think of the counting as a simple guide. It's a simple guide to follow. So inhale for 2, 3, 4, and then release the breath for 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And now bring awareness to your chest, your heart, And you might bring a hand there or bring the hands together in Anjali Mudra, pressing palm to palm. And if there's something, an intention that you'd like to bring into your practice today, maybe now is the time to think about something that you'd like to focus on, either for yourself as we move through the practice together. Maybe it's a wish for someone else, like you're sending safety and peace to someone in particular, or maybe it's a positive wish that you send out into the world. So you could bring that to the surface now. This is a sankalpa, an intention. And if you can't think of anything, simply breathe with gratitude that you're here now doing something wonderful for your body and your mind. And now I'm going to chant the sound of Om 3 times. If you'd like to join in, please do. The sound of Om is symbolic of the vibration, the universal energy that exists within everything. It exists within each of us. It exists within all living things, the trees and the plants, everything around us. And when we chant the sound of Om, we connect with that energy. If you'd like to join me, go ahead and exhale fully now and take a nice deep breath in. Om. Inhale deeply. One more. Take a nice deep breath in. And then release. You could open your eyes softly if they were closed. Okay, and let's begin with some movement. So can you take your torso in slow circles? So we've been sitting for a little while, one position. This is a nice way to loosen up the muscles in the low back. If you tend to get dizzy, you might try closing your eyes or going more slowly. And then let's reverse that. Slow circles, like you're stirring a big pot of soup would be a good food to have on a day like today. It's a little bit warmer than it was, but we just got snow in Maryland here a couple days ago, and it's been pretty cold. Okay, and then come on back to center again. Great, and then let's begin with some movements for the spine. I'm just going to move my chair out of the way a little bit. And I'm going to extend my legs forward. You're welcome to sit with legs extended forward, cross-leg position, whatever you wish. But let's connect with the breath. Inhale and reach the arms up. Exhale and float the arms down, soften the shoulders, and move whatever's available to you. Inhale, reach up to lengthen the spine. Exhale, soften down through the shoulders. Inhale and exhale. Okay, and then let's inhale, reach up through the left side now and lengthen over to the right for a side bend. Inhale to come back up, release that, and then reach up through the right side now, lengthen up and over to the left. These are great movements for the spine and helps to open up the body. Inhale to come back up. Let's do it again. Reach up through the left side, lengthen over to the right. Inhale to come back up. Reach up through the right side, lengthen over to the left. Inhale to come back up. Great, and then take your shoulders up, back and down. Let's move into some smaller joint movements, or you could take your fingers to your shoulders and with bent elbows, take the elbows back and down. You could also do this on one side, if you've got something going on, if you're being careful of one arm or shoulder, you could practice this on one side. Okay, let's go the other way now. Forward, down, and back, circling, warming up the shoulder joints. Great, and then the sun's coming out. Extend the arms forward, sit nice and tall, and then cross your arms, or you could think about drawing your shoulders towards each other to hug your heart. Giving yourself a hug. Open up the chest and then bringing the other arm on top. Inhale, open up. Exhale, hug. Breathe in as you open up. Bring that beautiful breath in. And then hug. Open up. Okay, then come back to the hug. And you could, again, do this with one arm across. You could also do it with your wrist crossed across your chest. We're going to rock from side to side. Rock from side to side. Good. Okay, come on back to center here. And if your arms are crossed, so right now I've got my wrists crossed, and this is if you have, if you're being careful of shoulders, this is a really good option. If you're doing the hug, how about if you bring the backs of the forearms towards each other? Just see how that feels. And then let's all turn the head to look to the right. Okay, slowly turn the head to look to the right. So we're adding a little neck stretch here. Seeing what you see in the room. And then bring your head back to neutral. And then you could come back to the hug. This is my little trick on remembering what arm is on top. And then open your arms, open the chest, and give yourself a hug with the other arm on top. Or the backs of the arms could come in towards each other. Rock back and forth. And then come on back to neutral, and then turn the head to look to the left. You might even close your eyes. Closing the eyes is sometimes a nice way to go inward, practicing. One of the 8 limbs of yoga is pratyahara, which is, turning inward, turning away from the stimulation, the busyness of the environment around us or the world around us. And it can sometimes be very refreshing to our mind. Okay, then come on back to center, open the chest, and then how about if you take a big breath in, reach up, and then exhale, bring both hands back down to the heart, Anjali Mudra. Great. All right, now let's do some twisting. So you could either do twisting like this dynamically from side to side, if you feel like, oh, that would be nice for the low back and you want to move. Maybe you've been inside for a while, the weather's been kind of ick and you've been inside. So this is a really nice way to move the body. Or you could inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist to the right and hold it there for a breath or two. So dynamic twisting, or we're holding the static twist. And if you're in the static twist where you're holding the twist, inhale, lengthen, come on back to center, and then we'll go the second side. Inhale to lengthen and exhale, twist to the left side now. Notice the breath. It's your ribs. Can you sense how your ribs are moving with your breath? It's pretty cool. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, come on back to center again. Great. Okay, now we're going to transition. If you would like to come to hands and knees, you could come to hands and knees now. We're going to do cat and cow. I'm going to lead you into downward facing dog and plank position from there. So if you're in seated position, cat and cow would be like this. I can show you both variations too before you get comfy. So from seated position, your legs could be extended forward, or you could cross your legs. And this is our cat and cow, lifting up through the chest and then opening up the back, coming into cat pose, inhale and exhale. Okay, so that's cat and cow seated. So from cat and cow then, watch for a second. If you decide to be in seated position for the next 3 poses, we're going to go from cat and cow to a child's pose. And from seated position, this is our child's pose. We bring the arms forward and stretch the hips back. So we get this nice stretch through the low back. So this is, again, from seated position. In the chair, it would be, maybe you rest your forearms on your thighs. And then we'll come back up to a neutral position and then go into downward facing dog. So from a seated position, this is our downward facing dog. We reach the arms up, and you could do it with me, taking the arms into this big like V shape. And then from downward facing dog, we'll then come into child's pose again. So I'm going to hinge forward and rest, stretching the back. Now, if you have blocks and you're seated in the chair, I'll just show you a couple ways to make use of the blocks. If you don't have blocks, next time you're online on Amazon, we always use Amazon, right? Or if you're in, like Walmart has them, Target has them. So in the chair, if you have blocks, you could walk the blocks forward. This is our stretchy child's pose, stretching the hips back and reaching the arms forward. So without blocks, you could be here. It's nice to rest, on the legs. Okay, so that's the seated version. If you would like to transition to hands and knees, we're going to go from hands and knees to standing. So I'm going to have the chair in front of me. Come on to, and I'll show you these first, and then we'll do it together. Okay, so from hands and knees, check to be sure that your pelvis is level. If it's not level, put a blanket or a pillow, if you have something like that, underneath your prosthesis or your residual limb to level out the pelvis. And so we'll do cat and cow here. So we'll inhale and lift the chest, arching the back, and then exhale as we come into that nice cat stretch to stretch through the back body, inhaling and exhaling. And then this is child's pose. I'm going to take my hips back and extend the arms forward, or I could come into a resting child's pose where I rest my head on my hands, or a block is also great. Okay, and then we'll come back up. And I know I'm going through this quickly. We're going to do it together, but I want to show you all three of these just so it makes sense. So then from this tabletop position, coming back to tabletop here, if you'd like to come into downward facing dog, press down through the hands and then lift the hips up and back, coming into, it's like an upside down V position. And then we'll hold that for a few breaths and then come down to child's pose to rest. And then we're gonna go on from there. Okay, I know that was a long demonstration. So let's do it all together now. All right. So from either seated position, I'm gonna show the option coming from the mat, from all fours, but I'm gonna give you instructions for both. So first, be comfortable in your seated position. If you're on hands and knees now, check to be sure that your pelvis is level. You might want to put a blanket underneath your limb to level out the pelvis. And then let's invite the breath in. Inhale, extend the chest forward, open the chest coming into cow, and then bow the head gently as you stretch through your spine, stretch through your back body, cat. Inhale, cow, and exhale, stretching to cat. Breathing in, following the rhythm of the breath. Exhaling, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhaling, cat. Okay, and now let's go back into child's pose. So take the hips back and rest the upper body. You could rest your head on your hands or a block. You could rest forearms on thighs. This is a great stretch for the low back. If you're sitting in the chair and have blocks, you could bring the blocks in front of you and stretch your arms out on the block. From child's pose now, let's come back up to a neutral position. So neutral from seated position would be that easy seated pose, sitting upright, grounding down through your sit bones and lengthening the spine. Neutral position on the floor is coming into tabletop. And now let's practice our downward facing dog. Press down through the hands, tuck the toes under, take the hips up and back, stretching the hips back. And then if you're in the seated position, you stretch the arms up overhead and take them wide, opening up the sides of your torso and the armpit area. You're creating a lot of space in the body here. And breathing. Okay, let's take another breath in. As you exhale, come into child's pose again. Take the hips back and rest your head. Soften the neck. Rest on your either thighs or on the ground. Okay, and then let's come up and we're going to transition now to standing for those of you that would like to come to standing. So I'm using my chair. I love the chair. So I'm going to put the chair in front of me, bring one foot forward and the other foot forward. Or if you have another way that you like to come into it, whatever works for you. And then we'll come to standing. I'm just going to adjust my camera here slightly. And now, give yourself time to get there. Let's do some of the breath of joy to get the energy flowing, to connect with breath. Okay, and this can be done from a seated position or from standing position. I'll demonstrate first. So it looks like this. We inhale, reach up, inhale, reach out, inhale, reach up, and then so I'm inhaling through my nose 3 times, a little bit. Little inhale, little inhale, little inhale, and then big exhale. Okay, think about with the exhale, you're exhaling out whatever you don't want to take into the rest of your Thursday or into your weekend. All right, just let it go. So let's do 6 rounds of this. Okay, so ready? Okay, here we go. Inhale up, inhale out, inhale up, release. Inhale, 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 exhale. Keep going. You can even make a really audible, like a sighing exhalation. One more. And now inhale, come on back up. You could extend the arms up if you like. Turn the palms down in front of you and slowly float the hands down in front of you. Like you're grounding all that great, wonderful, joyful energy into your being. Yeah, awesome. Okay, now let's practice Warrior One. So Warrior One, standing, if you've got a chair, you might turn the chair around so the back of the chair is facing you. If you're seated in the chair, if you can take your left leg out to the side and open it up, this is one option. Another option is to turn to face the left. Actually, no. Okay, this is one option, seated, or the other option, if you can't open your leg like that, is to be here. And you're going to keep that mountain alignment, keep the pelvis level, and then we'll reach up from there. Okay, and so from standing position, it all makes sense. We trust. Right? So from standing position, we'll keep the left leg forward, take the right leg back, and bend the knee. If my heel isn't making contact with the floor, you might put a blanket underneath the heel. Again, this helps to support your spine and your low back. Okay, so let's come into this Warrior One stance. So seated in the chair, you could turn open if you're able to do that, turn to the left or stay facing forward. Square your hips. And inhale, lengthen from your waistline to your armpits, reach up. Virabhadrasana 1. Your heart's lifted. Sense your breathing. You're welcome to even look up. It's better to not lift the chin. In some lineages and some yoga classes, you probably have heard that to like lift the head, but I like to be very just mindful of the neck. I've got my own issues with my neck, and it's really better to keep the neck neutral, but you could take the gaze up and that can help with balance. Okay, take another breath in and then exhale. It was a long time to hold it. And then let's come into mountain pose. So come to mountain pose. In the chair, you could bring both legs in front of you. And then let's rock from side to side. Shift back and forth. Yep. Okay. All right. And then return to your mountain pose. And now we'll practice Warrior One on the second side. So if you're seated in the chair and you can turn to the right, bending the right knee if you can, and then turning the torso to the right. From standing position, step the left foot back with the right leg forward, bend the right knee. And now let's reach up from there. And you know, what's great about having the chair here is that I could keep a hand on the chair so that you're promoting that feeling of stability. You're letting that leave an imprint. And these yoga postures that we practice that instill a feeling of solidity, feeling solid in the body, grounded, it really plays out in different aspects in our life. Take another breath in as you exhale, release shoulders, release arms, and then return back to your mountain pose. And then let's do some circling of the hips this time. So take the hips in circles like you're hula hooping. And reverse that. Awesome. Okay, now find your mountain pose. And let's work on balance. Shift your weight to your left foot. This is where chair 2 might come in handy. You might have your hand on the chair, or the chair could be in front of you. Shift your weight to your right side, extending down through your right sit bone. Think of it as like you're rooting down from the base of your pelvis. That's where your sit bone is. You're rooting down all the way to the earth. Now lift the right thigh up. Can you keep your chest lifted and look forward? Yeah, that's it. Okay, set the right side down. Right thigh comes back down. Now shift your weight over to the right side and let's lift the left thigh. Steady gaze. Helps if you look at something. You know, maybe you're looking at something above your device or something in the room, you know, like a painting or a photograph or something on the wall. Okay, go ahead and bring that left leg down. Okay, now let's do some marching in place. So wherever you are, lifting right thigh, left thigh. And then you could add this movement, crossing the arms, tapping the opposite thigh. Good for our brain health. When we do these cross-body actions, it's good for our neurotransmitters. Okay, come on back to mountain pose. All right, now let's practice tree pose. The trees looked so pretty yesterday here in Maryland. They were snow covered. And so if you have a window in the room that you're in and you'd like to turn towards the window, you know, please do. Coming from mountain pose, I'll show you the seated version too. We're going to shift the weight to the left side, extend down through the left sit bone. If you're seated, extend the left leg forward and open the right hip out to the side. Standing, we'll open the right hip out to the side, bringing your heel to the inner ankle, or if you have a block, you could bring your heel to the block. That's a really nice way to support that right hip. And then bring a hand or both hands to your chest, maybe even joining them together in Anjali Mudra. Soften the shoulders, relax the jaw. And then how about from here we extend up, open up the arms if that works, if it feels good to you. Breathing. Inhale as you exhale, go ahead and release, and then come on back to mountain. Bring the legs at least hip width apart, shift back and forth. I tell you, this is one of my favorite things to do. I know it sounds funny, but like if I'm standing there, like working at the computer, or if I'm like standing waiting in line at the grocery store, I'll do this because I know that it's good for my nervous system. So you might just tuck that away in your toolbox. This is good. Rocking is good for our nervous system. It's soothing. Okay, all right. Tree pose on the other side now. So from mountain pose. This is another way that the wall comes in handy too, y'all. So having the wall behind me just gives that assurance. Just, you know, it's okay if you're not near a wall today, but just going forward, it might be something to think about. Okay, so let's shift the weight now to the right side. If you're seated, extend the right leg forward, open the left hip, bring your heel to your inner ankle or to a block. Bring the hands to your heart, or hands could join together, emphasizing union, union between your mind, your body, and your breath. That's the basic definition of yoga, to unite. And then if you'd like to reach up and out, you might open up the collarbones. Feel your in-breath, your out-breath, your breathing, you're here. We're so grateful, aren't we? Breathe in as you exhale, release, come on back to your mountain pose. And then you might do that rocking side to side, or this, it's called empty coat sleeves. Take the legs a little wider and twirl. You could twirl upper body, lower body too, twirling from side to side, releasing those joints. It's good, once we hold a pose, muscles are working, which is great. But then it's also nice to, let them release. They work, and then it's like resting, right? We don't want to work all the time. We want to balance that with rest. Okay, come on back. Okay, so I really wanted to work in some warrior two, and can we do that? And then we're going to come down. So to wind down. So warrior two, you could do. I want to show you 3 different ways today. So one way, in the chair, you could turn towards the corner of your chair. You could stay upright. Just it all depends really on the anatomy of your chair. Take the legs wide. And if you're facing the corner, you might straighten this left leg. Okay, so that's seated in the chair. If you like to come to the ground, so after this warrior two that we do on each side, we're going to come to a seated position and do a breathing technique. So like if you know that you want to come down to the floor eventually, now might be a good time. Okay, so this is going to be warrior two on the ground. Extend forward through the left leg, open the right hip, and you could also take your prosthesis off now if you'd like to. And so this will be the way we are arranging our lower body in warrior two, and then we'll add the arms to this. Okay, standing. I know that many of you are familiar with warrior two, and if you would already like to get into it, go ahead and get into it. I'm going to explain how we can use these props. So I'm going to bring the chair over to my right side, and the back of the chair is facing me. So again, I've got that light touch on the chair, and I'll step my feet out wide, turn the left leg in and turn the right leg out, and bend the right knee if that's possible. And then we'll cross the wrists and open up the chest, extending out from the center of the chest. And now let's turn our head to look out over the right side. Warrior two. Inhale as you exhale, release. If you're standing, can you straighten your leg and turn your legs to parallel? Because it just occurred to me that I was demonstrating and then we just kind of went right into it. So can we do it again? Let's do it all together, all right? To the right side. Okay. Okay, so if you're standing, turn the left leg in slightly, turn the right leg out, come into the bend of your right knee. If you're seated, you've opened up the right hip. If you're on the floor, extend the left leg forward if you can. And then let's all open up the front. So take the arms in front of you, open up. Isn't that grand? Clearing the space. Extending out from the center of your chest. Now turn the head to look to the right. Feeling your breath. Inhale as you exhale, release the arms. If you're standing straight in the leg, turn the legs to parallel and then bring the legs in. Yeah. And then feel free to do a little shake out if you feel like you need to, release the arms, wrists, or do a little bit of the funky dance moves. All right. You can tell I've been cooped up inside. All right, so going to the second side now. If you're standing, you might move the chair to the other side of your mat. If you're seated on the floor, extend your right leg forward, open up the right hip. If you're standing, step the feet out wide. Turn the right leg in slightly, turn the left leg out, and bend the left knee. Then let's all bring the arms in front. You're keeping the shoulders on the same plane as the hips, and then sweep up and out. Oh, isn't it wonderful? And then turn your head to look out over the left side. Relax the jaw. Steady gaze. Inhale as you exhale, release, and then turn the legs back to facing forward, and then bring them back in. And then if you feel like you need to move a little bit, you could do some marching in place. You could do the hula hoop. You know so many yoga techniques, don't you? You learn all these different ways. Rocking back and forth on the sit bones, empty coat sleeves. So many great tools. Okay. All right. Yeah. Feel free to do it for as long as you want. And then we're going to come to, we're actually going to not come to seated on the floor, but you could either sit in the chair or come down to the ground onto your back. If you know, we always end our practice with a few wind down poses, wind down stretches. Okay, so they're sitting in the chair or sitting or laying down on the ground. Be sure that your head's supported if you're laying on the ground. I've got a blanket underneath my head. And bend your knees, bring the feet to the floor. Place a hand or both hands on your lower belly. Feel yourself breathing. Feel in breath flowing into the out breath. Let's practice 3 rounds of the blowing breath while we're here. Breathe in through your nose, blow out slowly like you're blowing on, like a hot soup. Inhale, slowly blow out the exhale. Okay, now hug your right leg in towards you. Breathing into the belly. Now, this is a good massage for your belly. Seated, laying down. Good massage for your digestive system. Okay, let's switch. Bring the left thigh in towards you. Relax the shoulders. Soften jaw. Soften or close your eyes. Okay, bring that leg down. And now it's time for resting Shavasana. If you feel like you still need to move or stretch, feel free to move or stretch in any way that would feel good. You could stretch your arms and your legs forward. And it's even kind of fun to lift a leg from there and then release it. If you feel like you got some pent up energy that you need to let go of, and then lift the other leg up and then release it, and then bring the arms down alongside of you. If you have the extra blanket or pillow there, place it across your abdomen or your lap if you're in a seated position, because that can instill a feeling of being grounded. If you don't have a blanket or pillow, maybe you rest your hands on your lower belly, or simply have an awareness of your lower belly. And tune into your breathing. Take a full breath in and release the breath softening down through your body, letting go to gravity. Take another nice full breath in. And as you exhale, release and let go. Resting in the stillness of Shavasana. We'll rest here for a few minutes, enjoying the feel of the breath and enjoying this opportunity to not do, but to simply be and rest. Bring your awareness to the feel of your breathing. Allow your breath to deepen. It might even feel good to take another full breath in, feel that fullness of your breath, and then release it, let it go. Releasing anything else or any tension, just letting it go. And then begin to move your body in any way that would feel good. Moving, stretching. Perhaps you'd like to turn your head gently from side to side to stretch through the neck. If you're laying on your back, bend the knees and roll to one side, supporting your head with your blanket or an arm. And then inhale, press yourself back up to a comfortable seated position. And you might sit on a blanket. If you're sitting in the chair, bring your sit bones more towards the front edge of your chair, sitting tall. And how about if you bring a hand or both hands to your heart? And let's close our practice today with sending some loving kindness to each other and then out into the world. You're welcome to repeat these phrases after me. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you live with ease. We're sending that to everybody who's here with us today in our class. Let's repeat that. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you live with ease. And now let's send that out to the world around us. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings live with ease. And now let's direct that to ourselves. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I live with ease. And now I'm going to close our class the way that we started our class with that sound of Om, that vibration. And if you, instead of Oming, you could do one round of the humming breath, which has a very similar effect on, very positive, similar effect on our systems, on our body and our mind. So either one round of humming breath where you inhale through the nose, hum out your exhalation, or you can join me for that chant of Om. Let's exhale fully and inhale deeply. Namaste. The light in me honors the light in you. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day. The sun just came out. Look at that. Y'all brought the sun out here in Earlville. I'm going to stop recording.